If you're a women's basketball scout, or even just a fan keeping tabs on global talent, the Serbian Women's First League should definitely be of interest to you. At Cerebro, we help you find the best players anywhere in the world faster. I'm Ryan, one of the co-founders and the CEO. Let's dive in. With games just getting going this season in Serbia, let's take a look back at last year to see how Cerebro rated out top performers. Anytime you're looking at a RAM or a CRAM leaderboard, our overall player evaluation metrics, you're going to see some medals, gold, silver, and bronze. Usually it's going to indicate the top 20 to 30% of a given competition, with gold being the top 2 to 4% typically. Here in this leaderboard, we can see some familiar names of seasoned pros, national team participants, as well as some names maybe we don't recognize as much. One name I think is particularly interesting is Lindsay Wilby here, an American that participated in the Georgia State playoffs just a few years ago. And what's interesting is she was a bronze medalist there. Of course, she's been a silver medalist now in Serbia. But one thing that's interesting was that she was not necessarily a medalist in the college game. But we can see that in Serbia, as a pro, she's been improving in many of the areas that she was effective dating back to her college days. I think two of the most interesting areas to look at here would be her three-point efficiency, one of our 5 skill scores, as well as her floor general skills, another one of our 5 skill scores. Specifically, we can see here that by far and away, she actually has a better floor general skills rating than she's ever had at any point during her career. So as we start to zoom in on that a little bit, one thing that we can see is, number one, her on looking over at the three-point side, her three-point volume is significantly higher than it has been, and of course, she shot the ball at a really great rate, almost 40%. And then we look over at her floor general skills, and she's just averaging far more assists than before. This is probably largely tied to her usage in terms of generating more raw numbers. Again, that can be system, it can be set up. Ultimately, here at Cerebro, what we're doing is helping you to see the full story of a player's career and then allowing you to go dig and learn a lot more about what's behind those numbers. Another player I think is worth looking at is Jovana Popovic, who, of course, was the top-rated player this past season. As we look back at her career, she's an example of one of those pros that's just no surprise that she is as good as she is. In this case, we can see a number of medals almost all the time. Almost every competition she participates in, she ends up medaling in. And of course, that's coming by way of her doing a lot of things really, really great. If we look back at last year's Serbian League performance specifically, or go back and look at that leaderboard, we see her here at the top. And of course, I think one of the most interesting things is for her is not only is she doing so many great things offensively, but also defensively. She's averaging 3.1 steals per game and fouling less than twice per game. So one of the things that's interesting about Cerebro is not only can you look at an entire competition and get context about more information on how a league specifically is played, which might be interesting as we look back over at Lindsay's case too, but we also have the ability to flip between seasons. So as we flip over to this year, there's a familiar name right there at the top of the leaderboard and some familiar names across our leaderboard from last year as well. So if you found this video interesting, please let us know. Feel free to add down in the comments a player name maybe you want us to take a look at another competition, or just stay tuned for this series as it continues. Also, you're always welcome to go check out our website at cerebrosports.com to learn more. Thanks.